Hello, relatives. I hope you enjoy this story, and please share. Keep these stories alive. Once, when the world was younger, there was a young girl. Her mother had had a hard life, so she wasn't exactly very sensitive to her needs and wants and desire for attention. Her father was, as many fathers, many men were, wasn't exactly very good at emotions, and definitely not very good at what to do with a little girl's emotions. She, like all children, wanted love and attention and affection, but couldn't seem to get it. In fact, sometimes she would be made to feel wrong for seeking attention and trying to get it. So she had to find ways that were acceptable of getting the attention and love that she needed. So she found herself developing into what we would call today a people pleaser. Oh, she would go out of her way to try to make other people happy. It would let her feel good about herself. It would make her feel wanted. Sometimes it would make her feel downright important. And so she grew into more of a people pleaser because it was working for her. Well, she grew older, and as she did, and she continued operating this way, she began to lose sight of herself, of who she was, what she wanted, what made her happy. It was always, whatever you want, or whatever makes you happy. She would pay so close attention to what other people needed and wanted, and she was always there to fulfill it, most of the time before they even asked. And yes, of course, everybody loved her, but she felt very foreign to herself and didn't really know who she was, and this started to grow into sadness and hurt. And the hurt grew deeper the older she got, when she began to become aware that it didn't seem like people would do for her what she did for them. But she would still serve and still try to make them happy and try to convince herself that she was happy because they were happy. Until one day it came to a head. Her husband had been having a hard time in the hunts recently and wasn't really bringing as much home as he used to. And this really bothered him. He felt shame and started to withdraw inside. So the attention she was used to getting for pleasing him, she started to not get. So she started to get a little bit more desperate and would try even harder, try to be more attentive, more giving. It wasn't working. So this day he came home with only a single rabbit, and she had gone out of her way to make sure everything was clean and prepared. Did everything she could to prepare his favorite meal and waited excitedly for the thank you and the recognition. And got nothing. Came home, threw the rabbit down, sat down, grabbed the bowl that she offered and began to eat without a word, without a look at her. Nothing, finished eating, set the bowl down, went to go lay on the furs, just went to sleep, and she was just heartbroken. Nothing she did seemed to be good enough, and it certainly wasn't getting her what she needed and wanted anymore. And something inside just broke. So she went running out of their home, ran down to the river to find quiet by herself, and just cried. And cried and cried and cried. So lost in her pain she was that she didn't even notice the grandfather notice her and come up behind her and sit down next to her. When she finally noticed him, she was startled. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bother you. I didn't mean to make any noise. No, child. How long have I told you and asked you, what do you want? How do you feel? Yes, you always ask me, and I do my best. I do my best. I try to be a good person. I try, and it just seems like I can't do anything right. And what I do is never good enough. Oh, child. I can imagine how much that hurts you. Can I offer you a lesson? A wisdom that I learned when I was young? Yes, grandfather, please. I will listen. And even in that, she didn't want to hear what he had to say. She was so lost in her grief and pain, but she couldn't tell him no. And so he shared the wisdom. He says, daughter, look at the river. Yes, grandfather. Yes, I see the river. Do you think the river is happy? I don't know, grandfather. I don't know if the river is happy. I would say to you, daughter, that the river is happy. See, the river knows something that you don't know. The river knows that it's a river. And so it behaves and acts and flows as a river, as Creator made it to be. Do you think that that river will flow from its bed, will leave its bed to go come to the thirsty hunter? No. Do you think the river will deviate its course to go take care of the injured deer so the injured deer might have some water? No. The river doesn't deviate its path. The river stays in its bed, and the river goes where the river is meant to go. Yes, daughter. The river knows to be as the river is. It doesn't leave its bed to help others, to make others see it, or respect it, or honor it. It doesn't leave its bed to make others happy. It leaves its bed for nothing, because that is the river's path. And the river will not leave its path. My daughter, you have left your path in pursuit of taking care of everyone else. But where have you taken care of you? You no longer know who you are or what you want. Yes, grandfather, and this breaks my heart. Child, I would ask you, grieve your grief and mourn what you have lost, mourn the loss of what could have been. But I say to you, this can be the best and most beautiful part of your life. Because the not knowing who you are, not knowing what you want, means that you get to spend the rest of your life learning you, discovering you, learning how to meet your needs, your wants, learning and exploring everything life has to offer, to find out what makes you happy and what does not. This, my daughter, is a gift. And so often this gift does not come until you break, until you are willing to admit what you do not want to admit. Then, child, then you may own your life, and you may learn to love your life. This is a really big story for me. I was very much a people pleaser to the point of anxiety to the point of deep pain if I missed the mark or I did something wrong. I mean, God forbid I did something wrong and disappointed someone. The level of pain I would feel, the self-shaming I would do was pretty awful. Now that I realize what it was and what I was doing to myself, I had to really sit with the story of the river and its riverbed. But it was the part of, it's not until I could admit that I didn't know who I was, I didn't know what I wanted, I didn't know what made me happy. That really hurt to admit, because that just felt so bad, just so wrong. Like, how do you not know who you are? How do you not know what your purpose is? How do you not know what makes you happy? It's kind of foundational. That this story came to me and said, no. It's actually a good thing to not know who you are or what your purpose is or what you want. And that can sound really strange. So many people seek so desperately to know what their purpose is. I believe that your purpose is to live your life. You might find a mission in that, to be a healer, to be a doctor, to be a mother, to be a father, a husband, a wife. You might find a mission, write a book, whatever it is. But the purpose is to experience all that you can experience. So if you get to be in a place where you can begin exploring, finding the courage to try new things, do different things, new things, then you can be in a place of, if it doesn't work and you don't like it, nice. Check something off your box, off your list. Check another box. I don't like that. Great. It's not a bad thing that you tried something new or different and didn't like it. Now you know that you don't like it. That can be an amazing thing, because that lets you move on to the next thing to explore, the next type of work, the next type of friendship, the next activity, the next food, the next hobby, so that you can explore all that life has to offer. And there are so many things. I'm constantly hearing new activities or options or places to explore, different kinds of food that I've never even heard of before. So when I began to meet life with curiosity, instead of this right, wrong, good, bad, right, wrong, good, bad, almost frenetic energy, fear of failure, fear of messing up, fear of not doing it right. Of course you're not going to do it right when you first learn something. Of course you're not going to get it right when you have a new awareness or a new realization. You're not going to get it right when you try something new, because that's the whole point, is to learn how to do it, to learn if you're good at it, to learn if you enjoy it. This whole incredible vessel that we've been gifted with, the whole thing is built to have an experience. This whole thing is built to learn. But what do we learn? What do we experience? Do we just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again because it's safe? Eat the same food, but hey, it's a different restaurant? Or are we willing to try something new? And instead of that being a waste of money or a waste of time, to sit there and go, cool, I learned something about myself. I don't like this. This isn't me. Perfect. Because now you can begin to refine you. Now you can begin to learn you intimately. So, yeah, maybe you need to mourn the loss of what could have been. Maybe you need to mourn what is. Maybe there can be no mourning. Just a choice to be excited and curious about this incredible thing called life. Because everything passes. which means if you're in pain or you're having a painful moment, the very nature of our reality is constantly changing. So fearing change, it's not really going to do us any good, because that's life. Life is change. And if things are hard, it'll change. If things are good, enjoy the hell out of it. Things are going to change. And start learning to expect exploration and goodness instead of expecting failure and pain. I promise you, if you practice this, your life will absolutely change. Mine did. So much love, relatives. I hope you get to exploring. Have a beautiful evening.